If you ever want to buy a house for yourself, be sure to listen to this story.
Nothing is cheap for no reason, especially a house. The bitter but instructive experience of the haunted house, which in the end teaches you many tips to gather your senses and not go crazy. In our house, there was always a sense of insecurity that started from the moment we bought the place. It was an old and large house with many rooms, yet we never really got familiar with it. So when a young girl named Emma was found in our house, we quickly became suspicious. My sister and I were the only ones living in the house, and our parents were always away for various reasons, which made us even more uneasy. Emma, the young girl, didn't speak a word and wouldn't even look at us. She had somehow rejected any interaction with us and would sit alone in her room. This was very strange to us, and we couldn't understand why Emma had come to our house. But that was just one of the problems we faced. A few days after Emma's arrival, we started hearing strange and eerie noises in the house, always at night. These sounds were terrifying, and in some cases, they seemed to come from Emma's room, which made us even more concerned. Since these problems always occurred at night, we decided to take better care of Emma. However, no matter how much we tried to communicate with her, she always replied with the same sentence: she was in our house. In the end, due to all these problems, we decided to seek help from the police. But when they came to our house, there was no one else there. Emma had disappeared, and the only sentence left behind was, "She was in our house." The police investigation to find Emma started, but it ended with no results. No one could tell where Emma had gone or what had happened to her. After this incident, our house became an abandoned place. We could never believe what had happened in our house, but the sentence, "she was in our house," always stayed in our minds, sending shivers down our spines. We had left our house due to the terrifying experiences we had there and moved to a small house far from the city. But we always felt that the fear still lingered in our minds. Some time later, another strange and terrifying event occurred. On a dark and rainy night, we suddenly heard a loud and harsh noise coming from the top of the house. It sounded like something big was coming down. We quickly rushed to the front of our house and tried to find the cause of the noise. After a while, our attention was drawn to a door in the backyard. We had always noticed it but never saw any movement there. But on that night, the door was open. We felt like we had to go inside and see what had happened. When we entered, a pungent and penetrating smell hit our noses. But we still felt like we had to go further in and see what had happened. When we got inside, we turned on the lights and everything was destroyed. All the furniture in the house was scattered around in places they were never supposed to be. Some of them looked like they were supposed to be stacked on top of each other. The walls were covered in lines that looked like they had been painted with something. All the doors in the house were open, and a terrible smell was spreading throughout the length of the house. After a while, we went to our parents' bedroom. There was a large hole in the wall, and it looked like someone had worked on it with a sharp tool. But despite all the destruction, something more important was in the room. Our parents were not there. We quickly searched for them and finally found them on the top terrace of the house. They seemed to have completely opened up to something terrifying because they were wide-eyed and excitedly looking into the space behind the house. When we looked in that direction, we couldn't believe what was happening. One night, a large and unknown object from space had moved towards our house and was heading straight for us. This thing was very big and seemed to be going straight to our house. We felt like we were going to be its victims. My father quickly ordered us to gather in the house and lock the door. But when we got to the door, it was unlocked and open. My father quickly ran to the door and closed it. But being behind a closed gate did not help us at all. This big and unknown thing was still moving towards our house and was clearly getting closer. At that moment, my father ordered us to go to the top of the house and escape from the back terrace. We went up to the top of the house with trembling hands and beating hearts and escaped from the back terrace. But when we looked down from the terrace, we saw something terrifying. This big and alien thing had moved towards our house and had reached the door. But instead of going inside, it flew towards the sky and after a few moments, went into space. We were thrilled and scared. No one could believe what had happened. But despite all these fears and strange events, we still lived in that house. Nothing could force us to leave that house afterwards. We always felt like we were in danger and could never escape the terrifying events that happened there. After a few months, one night we felt like someone was in our house. We searched for that person and eventually found them in a room that seemed empty. But despite the room appearing empty, we found a strange, red, leather-like object with green lines in it. This object seemed to be moving towards us, and we tried with all our might to escape it, but no one could. The object suddenly attacked one of the walls, breaking it and causing a large piece of it to fall on us. We tried to escape it, but it seemed like no one could. After a few minutes, we followed our father downstairs. He moved towards one of the rooms in the house and then went outside after a few moments. We quickly followed him and found him in the backyard. Our father seemed completely taken by something terrifying. He was looking towards the back of the house with excitement. We became concerned and tried to get an explanation from him, but he didn't provide any and moved towards the back of the house. We tried with all our might to stop him, but we couldn't. Our father moved towards a large tree and looked at it with intensity. We couldn't figure out what had happened, but it seemed like he was dealing with something. After a few minutes, our father suddenly turned towards us and attacked us. We couldn't escape him and he eventually threw us into a dark and unsafe room. We were trapped in a dark and lonely room and couldn't figure out what had happened. After a few minutes, we heard a loud and terrifying sound from inside the room and we were extremely scared. Despite our efforts to escape, no one could. We were trapped in a dark room and couldn't figure out what had happened. After a few minutes, our father returned to the room and told us that we had to escape. We tried with all our might to escape, but no one could. In the end, we were able to escape and return home safely. But no one could understand what had happened, and we will always remember that we were in danger and could never escape it.